everybody, it's Deb here with Creative Life. Thanks for joining me today. Today we have a new project for Trace Jolie, you guys. It's our first project for September, and I'm pretty excited. I love this paper collection that we have. It is super gorgeous. If you haven't seen the reveal, I will post that here. I will put the link down below, and I will also put the link to the YouTube channel for Trace Jolie as well, so you can take a look at the mixed media kit. Oh my gosh, so lots of things going on, and so today we're going to be working on an explosion box. Now, I have never created one of these before. I actually got this particular explosion box from Michaels. Now, Michaels, I think it was maybe a year ago, was having a sale and marked down some items in their store, and I came across two, and this is one of them. And I found that this was really neat because it had pockets on the inside here. You lift up this one, and which is the middle one, and then you fold it back. It's got some nice plain areas here, right? You lift up this one, and this one has little pockets on the inside. So how fun is that? Now, this has been sitting in my stash. I actually forgot I had this, and it had been sitting in my stash for, I want to say, at least a year, you guys. I totally just forgot I had it. And I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and use this paper to create a little explosion box. And there are tons of YouTube channels that show you how to make an explosion box. I do have one that I am working on because I thought, well, you know, since I already have one that's pre-made, it would be nice to have one that you can refer to if you need one. So, but today we're just going to use this pre-made one here, and we're going to decorate this up. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so to start off with the explosion box, either after you make one or if you're using a pre-made one, you're just going to go ahead and measure out the sizes that you need around your lids and on the inside flaps and the outside flaps. And then I went ahead and cut all of my paper to cover the boxes and the lids and everything. So the measurements are going to differ from probably what you're going to be using, but most of my measurements, and then for the lids, were different because as your explosion box expands, all right, it starts out big and then it gets smaller as you go inward. So the lid part was about 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and that was the outside of my box. So my flaps for the outside were about 5 1/8 by 5, and so I went ahead and cut like my paper a little bit shorter so I would have at least a little bit of a white border around the outside of my box. I also cut little strips to fit on the outside of the box lid, and these were approximately 1 inch by 5 1/4. So once I had all of my paper cut, I went ahead and started laying everything down, and I just used my glue. And what I did is I started from the inside and then worked my way out. So I laid all my pieces down where I wanted them and had my box laid open, and then went around in a circle and did each one separate. So like did the insides first and the outside of that little panel, and then did the second row. Same thing. We just worked my way around in a circle and glued everything down. Now here, what I wanted to do is make a little tuck spot inside of the panel. So I went ahead and grabbed this sheet and just grabbed my X-Acto knife and cut a little slit about a quarter, 3/4 inch, wherever that little line was on the paper image. And I just went ahead and placed tape around it and just did a little tuck spot there. And so I think that's going to look super cute with as a little tuck spot for something. And then again, I just worked my way around each little panel. So I glued on the back side of one panel, then the front of one panel, and then turned it, and then did the same thing on the other side. After papering some of the inside, I went ahead and did the lids for each part of the box. So this is the outside lid for the larger part, and then I went ahead and did the other lids as well. So here I'm just putting on my little panels on the sides and on the top, and then I'll go ahead and share with you how I did the inside. Now for the insides, I went ahead and used some of my strips that were just scraps, and I went ahead and cut those down and placed those in the corners, as you see here, or against the lid areas. And then I went ahead and cut, or I had a scrap piece that was already cut into a square, and I just placed that right on top of there. So yeah, so I think it blended pretty well together. I really liked it. Okay, so this is the second lid. So this is the one that goes right underneath the top lid. And so this one I thought would look really pretty with those leaves and the little arched entryway. So pretty. And so I went ahead and covered that lid using this paper. And again, this is Prima Plant Department, so if you haven't seen this paper collection, you are going to want it because it is just absolutely beautiful paper. I really fell in love with this. So pretty. So this is in the scrapbooking kit, and I will leave the links down below for you so you can check it out. Okay, so for this next part, what I did is, because this already had pockets, I wanted to add another area where you could add pictures. And so I went ahead and did a flap on these. And the flap measures at about 4 7/8 by 5 1/2. And you score this on the 5 1/2 inch side at a 1/2 inch. And then you stick that 1/2 inch and you tape it down on the inside of that little pocket there. Okay, and so because the inside of the pocket, I couldn't get it, kept getting stuck along the ridges of the inside of the pocket from, you know, being pre-made. So I went ahead and added a plain white paper on the inside of that. So I would lay down my little flap and then cut out another piece that was about 5 3/4 inch, or 5 by 4 3/4. Lay that on the inside of the pocket, okay, and then my mats, my photo mats, would slide easily inside of that pocket. Okay, so this again is just a little mat that goes on the inside of there, so my photo mats will slide in easier. So I just wanted to let you know. So I made 4 of those little flaps. Thought they turned out super cute, and then I went ahead and covered these as well. Okay, so now I went ahead and I'm covering the little flaps that I created with this little paper, with this beautiful paper, I should say. This is where it's the white paper, and it's like a whitish gray kind of color, dove gray, I guess you could say. And it has a little door on the back of this paper. And it has the gold foil leaves on it. So dainty, you guys. And I think that's why I love this paper so much, is because it's so dainty. It's so pretty. And then here I'm covering the back side of the little flaps that I did using the other side of that peach color paper that has the gold foil on the other side, and I really liked the distressed look of this one, so that's why I chose this side to do cover up the flaps. Okay, so for the photo mats, I just went ahead and cut out the photo mats 5 by 4 3/4, and then I went ahead and stuck the strips that I had left over from cutting my papers, and I just covered the tops and the bottom of them, and I just felt that they looked really pretty that way instead of covering the whole thing, because your photo is going to take up most of that. So I just decided to do the top and the bottom of the photo mats. So I did that for all 4 photo mats that fit inside of the little pockets. Okay, you guys, so now we're to my favorite part, and you all know me, so decorating is like one of my favorite things to do. And so here I'm just gathering my flowers, just kind of getting a feel for what I want to do. I knew I wanted to use that large leaf and then the little rosebuds, and then I wanted to add the big flowers on there along with some of the small flowers. I also wanted to add some of the ephemera on there, and I did use some foam strips on there to go ahead and pop that up and just place that right underneath the little flowers. I went ahead and just I didn't really know what else I wanted to use on that one, but I just went ahead and grabbed one of the birds, and oh my god, the white peacock is so pretty. So I went ahead and stuck that one on there, and it just looked gorgeous. So here I am putting together this piece here, and so again I'm just taking my ephemera and I'm layering it. Again, I used some foam dots on this one to pop it up. These foam dots are a little higher set than the foam strips that I use, so I went ahead and used those. And then I went ahead and placed my flowers around here, and I just love this ephemera. Again, I just went ahead and used some of the ephemera to build up things. I took one of the word strips that are in the ephemera packet and I cut that in half, and outlined it with the ink as you saw, and then just placed it down on there with foam dots or a foam strip behind them. On this third lid, I wanted to really leave the flowers with the gold foil showing on there, so I was really hesitant on even decorating this one because it was so pretty. I didn't want to cover anything up, so I used that word lovely, and I didn't like really go overboard with this one because like I said, I really loved this image, and so I really wanted to leave it kind of showing on here. And so I grabbed some of those little plants that were in the ephemera within the pots and built those up with some foam strip and foam squares, and just laid those around the top of that little sentiment there. And yeah, so that's pretty much all I did. I didn't, like I said, I didn't go overboard with this one because I really loved that sentiment, and so I just left it like that, and I think it was pretty. Used just a couple of the little flowers, and that was it. After the lids are finished, I went ahead and grabbed some of my string of pearls that I had in my stash, and I cut those the length of the pockets, the slanted pockets that I had, and I just hot glued those down inside of there, and just to give it a little bit of a feminine touch. So I just, again, used my hot glue gun, glued down the pearl strings, and then just made sure that they wouldn't glue down to the pocket. So that way, you know, you could still slide in a photo or whatever you wanted inside of those little slanted pockets. I think that they were so pretty. And I really do like how the pearls looked on these little pockets. I think it looked really shabby, and I really thought it added a little bit of elegance to it. So to lighten up the flowers, because they were so bright, I went ahead and grabbed some white paint and just kind of painted around the petals of each of the flowers, and I think it really added a nice touch to them. Next, I took my stickles and just started putting that around all of the flowers just to give them a little bit of sparkle. I added the stickles around the ephemera pieces as well, so like around the bird and a little bit around the flowers on the little sentiment. Next, we're going to make a little mini pool waterfall, and you're going to need one piece that is 2 3/4 by 6.5, and that's the one I just showed you. And then you're going to need 3 pieces that are 2 3/4 by 2 inches. Now these 3 little pieces you're going to go ahead and cover with your pattern paper, and here I'm just using my scraps and I'm cutting them down to fit over the little pieces that we just cut. Okay, so once you cut out your papers at the 2 3/4 by 2 inches, you're going to go ahead and use your pattern paper to cover the front and the back of each one of these. Okay, so for this next part, we're going to go ahead and cut out the base, and the base is going to be 2 3/4 by 6.5, and you're going to cut one strip that is about 1/2 inch long. Okay, and you want to make that at least 6 inches long or so. Next, we're going to score at 2 inches, 2.5, 3, and at 6 inches. And where those lines are that I'm darkening, that's where you're going to stick your tape. So we're going to stick, and then you're going to stick 2 in the middle and then 1 at the end there. So you have 3 lines of tape, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and you're going to place those little rectangles that we papered. You're going to go ahead and put those on top of each individual tape line. Okay, so next I wanted to paper the back, and so where your 1/2 inch score line is down there, you're going to place tape, and then you're going to place that little 1/2 inch strip that you have, and then you're going to place your paper back behind there. Don't glue it on, and then place those little arms over that piece of paper. Okay, now I'm just cutting my little pull tab a little shorter, and then I also cut the top of the back paper a little shorter. Now I decided to paper this back part because I wanted to lift it. So I wanted to add some foam tape to the back. And the reason why is because it would just be easier for the little pulley that pulls your little waterfall. It would be easier for it to pull down. So it needed some lift because the little pockets there were a little higher than what the waterfall was going to sit. So it wasn't going to pull very easy. This way, if it's on foam tape, it's a little higher and it would be easier to pull out. So now I'm just adding some ephemera pieces, and I'm fussy cutting some pieces out and just sticking them in that little waterfall book that we made. I just thought that it would be super cute to add some little waterfall pieces, or not, little ephemera pieces in there. So here I'm just decorating everything and, just trying to, piece everything together. I just thought it would look really pretty decorated. Okay, so we're done with our pull tag waterfall, and I just love how this little waterfall turned out. This little tab just pulls down, and all of our little ephemera pieces can show on there, and with some beautiful messages. I just absolutely love how this turned out. So yeah, so you can just turn it all the way over, and then it just flaps all the way back in, and then you have some little pockets here to stick your little photo mats in, and then these fold up just like this, and we put our little top on it just like that. So the little top just fits right on there. Whoop, just like that. Okay, and then you have also some room on the sides, on the four corners, to put your photos on, and then you also have room to put photos here. These fold up like this, and then you put this top on, and then you have another set of 4 areas for some super beautiful photos. And then here we made a little flap here on all 4 of our flaps, and these fold open, so you have photos that you could stick on all 4 sides. Okay, so this one opens up like this. Then we also have on the inner piece of these, we have pockets that you can pull your little photo mats out and place your photos on this side or the back, or you can use it for journaling. And then these just go ahead and go right back inside here, just like this. Get that in there. Let's just go right back inside. And then they fold down, and you can put a photo here. And same thing here. This comes out, so you have another little pocket with another little photo mat, and that just slides right back inside. Here you have another little flap and a pocket with a photo mat. Again, the back, and you can just pop that right back inside, just like that. And then same thing with this one. So all 4 flaps have a pocket for a photo mat, and then they have another flap you can add onto this, and then you can fold this up just like this, and we can go ahead and we can stick the lid on top of that. And again, you can either leave it like this, or you can put photos on it, however you want. But I just think that this would make such a beautiful wedding present for somebody. And, you know, a beautiful wedding gift, maybe a bridal gift, or, you know, baby shower, something like that. So, so pretty. And so that is it, you guys. So this is my little explosion box using the September scrapbooking kit from Trace Jolie. So I will have all of the links down below for you. And thank you all so much for joining me. Take care, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks so much for joining me today, y'all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and hit that bell for future notifications on all upcoming videos, tutorials, YouTube hops, and my Friday night lives at 4:30 Central Time.